Hello, Mavericks. This is Mrs. Hampton. I am super excited to be with you. I know that yesterday uh, was a longer lesson, and so today it's going to be a little bit or a much shorter lesson, but it'll allow you time if you need to go back for some of the place value parts. You are more than welcome to. But today we are going to be comparing numbers within 999. So that's really the extent. A lot of that can be seen by going back to that place value conversation that we had yesterday, as well as using that tool of making drawings with 100 blocks, 10 sticks, and ones to determine the larger number. So we are going to get started with a short clip, and then we will go.
Welcome back, guys. Today, we're going to learn about comparing numbers. Let's head on over and take a look. Here we have the symbols greater than, less than, and equal to. We will be using these symbols to compare numbers. Here we have two groups of ones blocks. We need to compare these groups of blocks. The first thing we need to do is count how many is in each group. We start on the left and we can see that there are 4 blocks. And on the right side, we have 10 blocks. We need to use one of the 3 symbols to compare these two groups. I like to think of this symbol as a big mouth that is always hungry. It wants to eat the biggest amount, so the open side should always face toward the biggest number. One thing that helps me is to remember that just like reading a book, we start on the left. Knowing this will help us remember if it is greater than or less than. Okay, so we have 4 on the left and 10 on the right. The symbol's mouth will open to the larger number. Which number is larger? The 10 is larger, so the mouth opens to the 10. If we were to read this, we would say 4 is less than 10. Let's look at another problem. Here we have 8 blocks on the left and 6 blocks on the right. The open mouth faces toward the bigger number. So which is bigger? The 8 is bigger, so the mouth opens toward the 8. Now to read this sentence, we start from the left and say 8 is greater than 6. Great job, guys! All right, now we can move into some bigger numbers. Okay, let's compare these numbers and see which symbol to use. Here we have the number 452 and the number 425. To help me compare, I am going to put the numbers on top of each other. I will put the number on the left on top and the number on the right on the bottom. Now that we have them lined up, let's compare them using our knowledge of place value. We start with the biggest value first, which is the hundreds place. In the hundreds place, both numbers have 400, so the hundreds are the same. Let's move on to the tens place. In the tens place, in the top number we have 50, and in the number below we have 20. Which number is greater, 50 or 20? The 50 is greater, so right away we know that 452 is a bigger number. This symbol wants to eat the larger number, so which number will it want to eat? Right, 452. If we were to read this statement, we would start from the left and say 452 is greater than 425. Awesome job, guys, you're doing great. Here we have another set of numbers to compare. On the left we have 694, and on the right we have 697. Can you tell me which number is bigger? Well, my initial thought is that they look almost the same, but let's compare them like we did before. Let's start in the hundreds place. Both numbers have 600 in the hundreds place, so the hundreds are the same. Now if we look at the tens place, we see that they both have 90 in the tens place. Now we look at the ones place, and the number on top has 4 ones, and the number on bottom has 7 ones. We know that 7 is the greater number. 697 is greater than 694. Now we need to face the mouth towards the greater number, which is 697. Now, can you guys read this statement for me? Correct. 694 is less than 697. Great job again. All right, guys, this has been tons of fun, but I have to get going. We'll see you next time, okay? Bye.
All right, Mavs. So that is really what we're doing today. So we're looking and determining the larger number. And just like we said, we always look to the left or the hundreds place in today's examples to determine the larger numbers. So to begin, I want you to compare these two numbers. Okay, you have the number 358 and 729. What are you going to do to compare those numbers? All right. So on my board, or on my sheet below, okay, just like we always, make sure you have something to write on or use, whether it's chalk, pencil, paper, crayons, whatever it is that you need. We are going to go ahead. So now you have 358 and 729. So let's take a look at how are you going to compare those numbers. So you have 358, and I'm going to put same colors that I've been using just so it's consistent, and I have to determine which number is bigger. So I have 729. All right, so you can't really see that. All right, so 358 and 729. Well, if you recall, what do you do first? First, you look at the number in the hundreds place. You always look to the left to determine that number. So let's say right now, so which number is larger, 3 or 7? Yes, 7 is a larger number. So you actually get to stop right there and just say 700 is a larger number, okay? And when the other day when we were doing that number, we were taking our hundreds and ones, okay, this gives you a little bit more information, right? If we go back to this, we know that 700 is larger than 300. So if you want to go back to what we had done on day one and practice that counting up, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, that is an awesome tool. Again, let's compare these numbers. If you were comparing 148 to 429, okay, you can also make drawings for these numbers. So you can say, make your 100 block, 10, 20, 30, 40, 8 ones, and 429. 100, 200, 300, 400, 10, 20, 29. So what number is larger? Well, if you make a drawing, you can first look at your hundreds block. So you can say, oh wow, I have 400 versus 100. So I know right away, after only looking at the hundreds number or the numbers over on the left, that 429 is a larger number than 148. Okay, so those drawings can be super helpful to you. Okay, so let's do another one. Up here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a number, and I'm going to have a drawing. So I'm going to say 571, and I'm going to say, compare it to 309. Okay, so when I'm looking, again, I can make my numbers. I can draw 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. I can make my 10 sticks if I want, but you know what? I don't even need to, okay? Because if you can determine by by the first number on the left, if it's not the same, I don't even actually need to make my 10 sticks and ones in this case, okay? Because really what I'm looking at is I'm comparing my 500 blocks to how many 100 blocks in 309? To 100 200, 300. So I'm comparing 500 to 300. Which number is larger? Yes, 500 is a larger number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 is a larger number than 300. So you can right away see that this number is larger. Okay, what if I had this? How about, what if I had 227, and I was going to compare it to, I wanted to do 200 19. Okay, now first, if you're making drawings or if you're just going from left to right, you're going to look at your hundreds. So in this, I have 200 or 200 blocks, and I'm comparing it to 200 in this one, which is the same. So if that is the same, if you have the same first number, then you go to the next. So I'm going to look now at my numbers in my tens place. So right here in the tens place, I have 2 tens, which is 20. 10, 20. Over here in the tens place, I have 1. So is 2 larger or is 1 larger? Okay, 2 is larger, so 227 must be larger than 219. Okay, so that's really all you're doing today, Mavericks. The bigger number, right? The alligator is always going to chomp the bigger food, right? So just think if you're an alligator in the swamp and you're looking for lunch and you see a little, I don't want to gross you out, a little donut or a big donut, you're going to want to eat the big donut, okay? So always remember that alligators are hungry and we all like donuts. Okay, so your job today, let's go through here. Your job today, okay. I'm going to pause this. I want you to write these down and I want you to solve them, okay? As some extra practice. Additionally, when you are ready, if you have your math workbook pages, depending on if you're working out of your math workbook, if you are working out of your math workbook, we are on 6-3 today, okay? And you're going to be looking at page 263 and 264, okay? All you get to do is compare numbers. So it's really super fun. Okay, so again, let's just do a couple here together, and then I will send you on your way. So you're going to look at this 3-digit number. Again, we always look to the left, so I'm going to be comparing first 600 to 700. If you want to have extra paper to go ahead and make your drawings, please do that. Or if you just want to isolate those numbers to the left, is 6 larger than 7 or is 7 larger than 6? 7 is larger than 6. So you don't even have to look at the 3 or the 5 or the 3 or the 5. It doesn't matter, okay? So you know that your hundreds are bigger. So I'm going to eat you 7 because you're bigger. You're going to fill my belly more, okay? Now let's take a look at number 2, okay? 2 is the same thing. I'm going to look at my hundreds. What's bigger, guys? 5 or 5? No, those are equal, aren't they? So then I'm going to go to look to my tens. What number do I have in my tens place? Oh my goodness, I have 2s in both 10 places? Wow, okay, that means that I need to look at my ones place. I have a 7 in this ones place and a 7 in this other place. Remember, I have 3 signs that I can make. I can make the less than sign, the greater than sign, or the equal sign. In this case, because 527 is the same number as 527, I can say that they are equal. Okay, this one right here, sometimes they'll kind of trick you up, right? 327 and 372. Hide the ones to the right. 3 is the same as 3. I'm going to go to my tens. 2 and I'm going to compare it to 7. Okay, don't look to the right because sometimes people get confused, right? So we're just going to stick with comparing our 20 to our 70. Is which number is larger? Okay, so that is what you get to do today. Just a lot of practice, taking everything that we learned yesterday and applying it. If you are working out of your homework and remembering book from home, we are on page 161 today. And again, it's the exact same thing. So you're looking at those numbers, looking at your hundreds number first. Is 2 bigger than, which number is bigger, 2 or 3? Boom, I'm done. I do not need to look at the 8 or the 5. Does not even matter in this case because right away I can see that 3 is larger than 2. All right, Mavericks, it was awesome to be with you. I hope you had so much fun, and I look forward